Okay, so the last video there on the dolmens has pissed a lot of people off, and it's led me to probably change my views on a few things. Some of them might be in here, and really I'm just going to show you these images. I will unmute them on the Google page for you to go and inspect extremely closely. Right, and because there could be a complete change in paradigm, obviously not on everything, but with a lot of things. This mud rock thing is really big, I'm telling you. It's massive, and it's going to piss a hell of a lot of people off. And it was the dolmen structures, wasn't it? Right. Well, since that, I've only got a few of these, and then we'll move on. It was this structure that shows you inside. If you look there, there's actually a hole there, a complete circle where a wooden beam was, yeah, which I will show you shortly. You can just see the remnant of one there, yeah, and there. These roofs may have actually been, shaped like a triangle, yeah, but they've just dried up and collapsed and then turned to mudstone over time. This was the main image of the video, wasn't it? And you can see how this is built, exactly how they build them today, and it's turned into mud rock. Watch the last video, I'm not getting into it again, but that's where we just were, and you can see the wooden beams, yeah, and the because they'll be like big wooden beams, and then twigs, yeah, you can see them just crisscrossing there, and then smothered with mud, right, and it turns to mud rock. Because much of the stuff I'm going to show you is, and absolutely is, either mud rock, kind of petrified wood, which is something like this. This will have been wood. You can see the rim round there. This is from one of those huge bowls, yeah, in Indonesia. You can see the colour of it. You can see the rim around there. You can see it's been carved, but it's been underwater a lot, yeah. So it's acted like things do on the inside of caves with all the minerals in this water, right? And it's become mineralised and calcified. Yeah, so it's like calcified mud rock in a way. That's the best way that I can describe artifacts like that. These are from the giant sites, yeah. It's what's so called, I'll get into that later. None of them were, they were just transformed over time, but you can see that I showed you this piece has been added to this. You can clearly see that this looks like it was wood actually, and it's been turned into mud rock, and this is just wood that's rotted away, soaked up mud and lime, just like this. You can see that this was a frame around here, look, see that frame around there, and where you can see a hole there, and the frame of this actually runs through there, joint, but there's a hole there. So this indeed was a wooden frame that has been filled in with wood chip board or something like that, and that's why it's coloured like this, right? This discovery on that last video is absolutely massive, and I'm telling you, it's the way forward. If there's any builders out there, people that work with wood, that used to be an archway, and it was a wooden archway. That is exactly how we make them today. It's how they've always made them, right? So again, it's mud rock and mud, petrified wood. You can clearly see that these were wooden beams at one time, yeah, and as they've dug it out, you're just left with an imprint of what once was. There is no mud left here. If you want to carry on believing that this has been carved out, it's a rock cut structure, when you can clearly see that this was built. It's a wooden structure, the remnant of, that soaked up all the mud and the lime. Right, if you can't see what I'm pointing out and the colour of what I'm pointing out by the end of this video, then you need to leave this channel, because it's going to be the direction that I'm going in for a while. All this mound, look, these were wooden beams, these archways here. These are not just stains, right, from water running down or something. You can clearly see it's where the wood was, right? All this colour, this like sandy stuff, you will see that that is actually what happens to wood when it's been submerged in mud and lime for a long time. I showed you these in one of those videos, and many people poo-pooed it. This is no way, this isn't wood. Well, it is wood. I showed you the grain in it, yeah, and probably, you know, the growth rings, right? But you can see by the colour of this that it's no different to what I've just been showing you. But this next image leaves you in no doubt that this is in fact wood and mud rock, like what the video's about. This is known as an underground rock carved structure, but this was above ground at one time, built from wood, right? How we build churches today. And the next image shows you better. You can see it's all wood and the remnant of. It's how we build structures, or any city today. Like I say, go inspect these images if you don't believe me. These next few are all known as underground rock cut structures, and they were all made of wood and above ground. Again, if you can't see it, it's because you're clinging onto old paradigms and you don't want to let go. You can see how this is built. Look at that floor there. They're wooden beams. It's exactly how you build wooden structures today. And like I was showing you earlier, it turns all into this ash stuff, literally. I've not got much to say on it because it's brand new. There's a lot more science that needs doing on this stuff, and I'm no scientist. I just know what I'm looking at, and this was wood. Agreed? You can see this roof was separate. They built the walls, they put that down there, and then the roof was put on. Look at the colour of it. It's wood. It's just soaked a lot of clay up, and they tell you that it's pottery. What, an entire structure built of pottery? I don't think so. Again, it's wooden beams. It looks like wood, and it's carved like wood because it is wood. It's just been in running water and becomes harder and calcified. Again, the site in China, I've made a video on it already. Look at that area there. For all those people that says that these weren't wood, I was telling you that every single one of these were built from wood, and they've been buried in clay and lime, and they've just turned to something like pottery, which they tell you that they are the terracotta army, but they were all built from wood. You can see it. Which takes me on to this structure, which was in Vlad 9VT's last video. What do you think that is made of? It's not a rock cut structure, it's built from wood. Look at it. It's just rotting away and turning to mush from it being buried in clay. And as I've been digging this thing out, there's another structure inside here that's buried. So it's not a rock cut structure, full stop. And he should have seen that when he put his video out.